Hi, welcome to Think Tech. We are raising public awareness about technology, energy, diversity, and globalism. This show is Center Stage, and I am your host, Donna Blanchard, proud managing director of Kumukuhui Theater. We're coming to you live from Pioneer Plaza in the heart of downtown Honolulu, very near Kumukuhui Theater. I'm excited to tell you about my guest today and introduce him to you. His name is Jack Doom, and he is the Overlord at Underworld Events. Nice. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Jack Doom.
Thank you very much. You almost got that correct.
I almost got it correct.
Overlord of the Underworld.
Okay, I didn't mean to do it that way. Sorry, that
I think
almost
you did,
was really
but
bad.
that's fine now.
If you don't have to watch my show more than a couple times to know that that's really common. I'm sorry.
but I've noticed you pronounce the Hawaiian stuff really well. I'm jealous.
Oh, thank you. Well, I work at Kumukuhui Theater, so it's kind of important that I learn how to say Hawaii right.
You got it. You nailed it.
Thank you. So what is Underworld Events?
Wow, Underworld Events. Underworld Events is a promotion company that I started. Actually, myself and my partner Rob started it many, many years ago in an effort to help the music scene here, bringing bands out that wouldn't normally get here, mostly, I wouldn't say underground, but most of the heavier bands, the punk bands. And there's several other people that do shows out here, 808 shows, BAMP, to name a couple. I kind of specialize a little bit more in the heavy metal stuff, though, the real heavy.
Oh, okay. 808 shows and BAMP are doing pretty much the same thing, just different groups?
No, BAMP is doing a lot of the larger, what we would call the radio-friendly shows. The bands that everybody knows, that everybody's heard about, the bands that sell out, the more common bands. 808 shows does more of the punk shows. He's pretty sporadic in doing his shows, but he's been here for 15 or 20 years as well.
Okay. So then you're bringing in more metal.
I try and bring in more metal. That's what I like to do. That's what I like. That's what I play. So, yeah, I want to bring in more metal. I want more people to see metal, hear metal.
Okay. And you're bringing the groups to, are you working with a variety of clubs?
I pretty much stick with Hawaiian Brian's. I have done some stuff at Anna's and some other smaller venues around town, but a couple of years ago, Hawaiian Brian's renovated, and they've got an awesome concert hall now. And so I pretty much just stick with them. They're about a 500 cap room, which is perfect for the bands that I do. I'm not bringing in bands that are doing 2,000 or 3,000 people. So I generally do between 250, 500 people.
Okay.
So Hawaiian Brian's it's Crossroads. Yeah, that's the name.
Yeah. And are you, you're bringing in bands that you know, how do you know the bands that you're bringing out?
It's a lot of the bands that are on the band's Warped Tour. It's just the bands that are touring now. And it's some of the bands, the older bands I'll bring out are bands that maybe I listened to when I was, I don't want to say high school, maybe college or a little bit after that. And they're still playing. They're all like the bands like Cannibal Corpse, is the full-on death metal bands that wouldn't normally get here. There's not really an avenue for them to get here. So I try and get them out. And I really like to bring bands that have never been here before. So it's their first time, and first time people seeing them. And so I look for that, but it's to the point now where either the bands or the band's agents get a hold of me. I don't really even look for bands anymore.
Oh, they're coming to get you.
Yeah, they come to me now,
Nice.
which is nice because it took a long time to get to that point.
Do you have to enjoy the band's music in order to bring them out?
No, there's a lot of bands I bring out I don't particularly care for.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's maybe not my style, but they put on an awesome show. And the people that do go to the shows really enjoy it. So no, I don't think so. And as a matter of fact, I try and encourage people to come to the shows, even if it's not really a band or a style that they particularly like. I try to get them to come to the shows because the more people that come to shows, the easier it is for me to bring other bands out.
Sure.
And so there's a lot of people that come to shows that they just go to every show. And there's a guy that comes to my shows every time without fail. When I put the tickets up for sale, guy is the first guy buying tickets every show. And he'll stop me at shows and ask me who's coming out next, what are you doing? And he just says, I just want to support the music scene here, and he buys tickets to every show.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Do you have to meet a certain quota for the bands? Are they getting a piece of the door?
It depends.
Okay.
Every contract is different, depending on the band, the booking agent, the management company. It totally depends. But bottom line is, the band is the first one to get paid. So regardless what happens, they're getting paid. That's why they're coming out.
Okay.
And then sometimes they maybe take a certain percentage of the profit or all of the profit, depending on what band they are and how big they are. So it just depends. I mean, there's so many different ways to do contracts and deals, but nobody's coming out for nothing.
Yeah.
So you just got to find out, massage it, and see what works for them.
So how many bands are you bringing out a month?
Last year I did about 16 shows, and that was way too much. It was way too much for me, time-wise, effort-wise, money-wise, and it kind of saturated the market to where people were like, there's another show next weekend, I'll just go to that one.
Oh.
And so this year I actually am probably only going to do about 5 shows.
Oh, wow,
Going
big.
Way back, yeah.
And you're handling you're booking the shows, but you're also
Right.
handling all of the promotion for the shows.
Most of it. I have a helper, Terry, who, thanks Terry. Terry is awesome. She helps me with the airport pickups when we go pick up the bands, the driving. She takes flyers out and does a lot of the flyering. So I have certain people, the street team that I have, that help me put up flyers and stuff all over the island. But most of the online stuff is either myself or Terry that does it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So primarily you're advertising the shows you're on Facebook?
Don't get me started on Facebook. I got a real issue with Facebook.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to get you started on Facebook now.
Facebook used to be really awesome, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that said MySpace used to be really awesome.
It was.
It was. And Justin Timberlake's trying to bring it back. But no, Facebook, I think a problem a lot of promoters get into is they rely on social media and that's it. So for me, social media is gravy. I try and get posters. I'm heavy into the old school, get posters out all over wherever you can. And there's a lot of people that help me with that. Coors Light has been a sponsor of mine for many, many years. And they're really into the music scene here, and they help me a ton with that, with my printing and with getting stuff out and everything. But Facebook, I used to have, actually many, many years ago, when Rob, who's working at Anna's now, and me were working together, we had a Facebook page. And I'd say about a year ago, after he had left and was doing his thing at Anna's, Facebook had decided that I was not conforming to the Facebook rules, and they deleted all my accounts. So
Oh, really?
yeah, so I had about 4,000 people or whatever, and they're gone. So I had to start again last year. So I'm starting from scratch. So that being said, it's a good thing that I don't really rely on social media, because if I did, I would have had nothing.
Yeah.
And so I still kept up the flyers and stuff like that, but I'm not going to say it didn't matter, because I could definitely tell a difference of the amount of people that were showing up at shows when I didn't have all these followers on Facebook.
We're going to look at some of those posters in a little while. And I know you're not active on Twitter yet.
I have a Twitter account, and the stuff from my Instagram posts are mirrored onto Twitter. But if you asked me to check my Twitter account right now, I wouldn't even know how to do that.
How to get in there.
Yeah, Terry takes care of that, and I don't know.
The reason, and at the theater, I'm responsible for our promotions over there. We do good old-fashioned newspaper.
Right.
We do all of the social media. We don't do posters so much. We used to, but that theater is just not a genre of entertainment that I think posters are really
Right.
effective for, but music is something different. I will stop, if I'm looking for some, music, I'll stop and look at a poster.
Right.
That's a good venue for you. However, I've got to be out, I got to be out in the house in order to see that poster. Where do
Right.
I go when I'm looking for entertainment? I'll get online, I'll see what my other friends are doing. I'm going to look and see what are the events going on.
Right.
Facebook reminds me, here's an event, you're invited to.
If you're following that, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's great for the people that follow you, but how do you get the people that aren't following
Well, you
you?
invite them.
Yeah.
No, you make an event and you
Oh, no,
invite.
Okay, so let me get started on
I don't work for Facebook.
No, good thing you don't, because I jump over the table and get you. That's another thing. Facebook is making it extremely hard for promoters now because they limit the number of people you can invite, and they make it really difficult. So I was literally, I was getting to the point where I was making like 4 or 5 event pages so I could invite everybody on my Facebook page.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just too much work. I don't do it anymore.
Okay, gotcha.
So Facebook is a necessary evil, but I really don't like them.
Okay,
That's what I'm getting at.
all right. Well,
Instagram's cool,
I
though.
don't think that Mark Zuckerberg watches
Yeah, you'd be
my show
surprised.
yet.
I tagged him today for this thing.
Did you?
No, I'm joking.
I'll tag him. I'll tag him in my tweet. I will tweet about this show. And I guess the larger point is when I'm looking for something to go out and do, how am I going to find out about all the cool things that are going on in the music scene? It does
That's
seem
a problem, yeah.
it's like a problem.
That is the problem.
Yeah. But I think part of the issue is, and I explore this in the nonprofit world also, in that in order to have one clearinghouse for all of that information, some entity has to be pulling that information.
Jason at 808 Shows actually does that on his website, 808shows.com, and he lists all the shows from all the promoters. And he does a really good job at it.
Oh.
So that's pretty, I don't know that he's getting everything, but he gets the majority of stuff.
Oh, cool. So
Yeah.
he's actually going out and looking for it, or are
I
feeding?
think he's been doing it for such a long time. I think that people are just submitting. I know, like, I submit my stuff to Jason, and so I know BAMP does, and I know all the other promoters I know do as well. So I don't think he's actually going out and chasing stuff. People are smart enough to realize that send him an email.
He's putting it
a
in
lot of
there.
people look at his website. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you. We just gave out a really useful
There you
piece of
go.
information.
You're welcome, Jason.
All before the first break, which we're going to take right now. Okay?
I can deal with that.
It went pretty fast, didn't it?
That was pretty quick.
Okay. We're going to take our first break. We'll be right back. Please stay put and get your questions ready. You can tweet them to us at ThinkTechHI. We'll see you in a minute.
Aloha, you can join the Hawaii Farmer Series every Thursday from 4 to 5 on Think Tech.
And I'm your co-host Matthew Johnson, here with Justine Espiritu.
And we are so thankful to have this show to use as a forum to get to know all the movers and shakers in agriculture in Hawaii and hear kind of their background and history, as well as
Their perspective on what they're doing and also the future for agriculture in Hawaii.
So join us every Thursday. You can tweet in your own comments and suggestions and be a part of the conversation at ThinkTechHi, and we hope to see you every single Thursday.
Aloha! How you doing? It's me, Angus McTech, wishing you to welcome and join us to see us on Hibachi Talk on Think Tech Hawaii. Join my co-hosts, Gordo the Tech Czar and Andrew the Security Guy, every Friday from 1300 to 1345. We look forward to seeing you. We'll talk tech and we'll have some wee bit of fun. And remember, let your wing gang free wherever you be. Aloha!
Hi, we're back and we are live. This is Center Stage on the Think Tech Hawaii Digital Network. I am your host, Donna Blanchard, and we're talking with Jack Doom of Underworld Events. And also, we're going to talk about some other aspects of your life in the music scene.
Happy to do that.
Momentarily. But you were just telling me about your text list, and I did notice that. I went to your website and looked, and you've got something that I haven't seen on any other website.
And I don't know that anybody else does it either. It's I actually have a text alert line, and once a month or twice a month I send out updates as to like what bands I'm bringing down, or I send out discount codes to buy things online. And so if you text, and you can find it anywhere at underworldevents.com or my Facebook page or Instagram, wherever, and it has it, and you just text Underworld to the phone number, and it signs you up automatically, and then you at the beginning of every month, you get a code that is usable on flavorus.com or to buy tickets that get you $5 off. And it's I've been doing that for about 1.5 years now, and it seems to be working pretty well because the people that sign up for it are the people that actually come to my concerts and they want to come to future ones. So you're direct marketing to those people.
Oh, yeah.
And I've got in about 1.5 years, I've gotten about 700 people sign up.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And Zuri is also awesome.
Ah,
She
there you go.
found,
So that was, the end of last year.
That's text marketing is really cool. It is very easy to opt out of. You have
Absolutely,
to really
yeah.
opt into it, and it's difficult to ignore a text. You know, you get
Well,
that, and it sits in your
That's
phone.
the thing is I used to have an email list, and so many people block emails, and I don't even bother with it anymore. But the texts, I mean, I'm having a hard time not checking my text right now. So that's everybody does it. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody looks at their texts, and I'm also gonna check if you do not tweet and you want to ask a question. You can also ask a question on my Facebook page. That's Donna.Blanchard, and I will check that in just a moment also. Okay, so can you give me a little bit of education on the varying schools of metal music, please?
Probably not, but well, there's so many different genres now.
Right?
It's super hard to keep up with. I lump them into a couple of different ones, which I'm sure people are like, that's terrible. Guy doesn't know what he's talking about. But it's just too difficult to jump into the different types. So I mean, there's the old school, like the death metal stuff, but there's probably 5 or 6 subgenres of death metal that I wouldn't even know. Thrash metal, which is what I play in my band, Corrupt Absolute. You've got the old, just the classic metal, like Iron Maiden type bands and stuff like that. So there's a ton. You've got all the new metal stuff. When I grew up, hardcore was the hardcore punk rock stuff, and now hardcore is a genre of metal, totally different. I still have a hard time saying that. Yeah, there's tons of different types. It's really difficult to pin stuff down.
So, okay, so where does goth fit? Goth metal.
Metal. I mean,
Well,
you can probably pick pieces of every type of metal and throw it in there, and industrial and the death metal stuff. So I mean, it's it's just everything is so mishmash.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
If I were listening to a piece of music and I was wondering if it was thrasher or death, what would you tell me to look for or listen for?
Vocals.
Just
Yeah.
what they're saying?
No,
literally?
the vocal style. The death metal is usually a lot more of it's the detuned, really kind of sounds like Darth Vader. We always call it Cookie Monster. It's Cookie Monster metal. It sounds like the Cookie Monster on Sesame Street. I apologize to death metal fans, but they say it too. I've been into death metal. It's whatever.
Is there such a thing as screamo music?
See, screamo, yeah. I mean, that's a lot of the newer type stuff. They have the screaming vocals that I don't understand a word they say, but I mean that goes with every type of music. But it's screamo is one type, and that's one of the genres that I think you really gotta like that style. I mean, it's tough.
Yeah.
But there's some good bands. I mean, the music is awesome. I'm just
There's
not
some
really
really
into that type of
there's some really awesome music. Sometimes it's difficult for me. I'm a vocalist and
Right.
spent a lot of years training to have this nice pure tone.
Right.
And
You'd
it-
hate my band then.
It sounds I feel it when I hear it.
Yeah.
I can't help it. Doesn't mean I don't like your band.
You
but
would
I
not-
feel
yeah.
for you when I hear it.
But it's it's just different. I mean, there's so many different styles.
Yeah.
And that's what I have a lot of younger bands coming and talking to me, and they want to play shows. They want to get on with bigger bands and everything. And that's one of the things that I always tell them is that you got to do something different. I mean, there's thousands of bands that have a vocal style that does this, and this, and it sounds exactly the same. But When you get somebody that maybe doesn't have vocal training, maybe they could never play cover songs because they just don't sound like those types of bands.
Yeah.
That's why I started singing. I could have never played a cover song if I had to. I can't sing. But for me, like thrash metal, right down my alley.
No problem.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I one time tried to sing a Janis Joplin song on karaoke, and oh my
Yeah.
God, I sounded like Karen Carpenter.
Yeah.
I can't help
Which
it.
even that's pretty good. I mean, I'd be happy with Karen Carpenter.
Well, I don't think Janis Joplin would have been.
Yeah.
though. Bobby McGee, just not the same coming.
But you know, so she had a unique style,
Yeah.
and that's what sets her apart. You know, you listen to her, or I mean, you hear Janis Joplin, you know that's Janis Joplin.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that's, you know, it's like Axl Rose. I mean, I don't think his voice is particularly great, but wow, you know it when you hear Axl Rose.
Yeah, he's got his gimmick.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your entree into metal. First of all, I'm curious, when you listen to music, you're
Oh.
working and you're going to turn on, you know, whatever, Pandora.
I am going to lose a lot of people right here in street cred. My favorite all-time band, even though my license plate on my car is Slayer. I've been a huge Slayer fan since they started. I listen on a daily basis to Duran Duran. I love Duran Duran.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, my favorite band of all time.
Someone was just telling me the other day that Duran Duran is their favorite band of all time, and I was
Please
surprised
introduce me
then,
to
too.
her. Or him.
It was a dude.
Is he cute?
No, if he was, I would have remembered who told me.
Ouch, that hurts. Hope he's not watching.
I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember who it was who
You're
said
going to
that,
remember
but-
if I said that now. Somebody says it. You go,
Yeah,
Jack
I'll
Doom likes
remember.
Duran
Yeah,
Duran.
Jack Doom.
Yeah,
Jack
no,
Doom.
they're awesome.
Likes
I
Duran
love Duran Duran. They're great. Every girlfriend I've ever had hates them because I listen to them so much.
Oh my gosh. Well, when I mean, it takes me back to college when I hear them. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, early.
I only
80s.
listened to the first 3 albums. Everything after that was crap. But
Oh,
it's the
wow,
first
that
3,
too.
yeah.
How do we feel about Depeche Mode then?
Not a huge Depeche Mode fan.
Oh.
A little depressing for me.
You just lost me.
Yeah, no, well, I never had you. Let's be honest.
Could have been magic. Okay, so let's talk about, now that we know that tasty little tidbit about you, let's go back to your music evolution. First of all, did you grow up here on the island?
You know, my father was military, so I went to Radford, graduated from Radford, and spent a lot of my formative years out here, and then I went back to the mainland for college.
What
and
did
then
you study?
I have an engineering degree, civil engineering,
Oh,
which funds a lot of the music stuff that I do because musicians do not make money.
yeah.
But yeah, so I ended up coming back here and got a job and figured, I'll surf for a couple of years, and I never cut my hair and I never left. So here I am 20-something years later, and I love it here.
Hanging out and loving it, and using the civil engineering degree to support your music habit,
Yeah.
like so many artists end up doing.
Everybody has other jobs, yeah. You just, I mean, you can't, very few people do out
Yeah.
here. And I'm afraid when you do, you have to play so much that it becomes like a job, and I don't think it'll be fun anymore.
We have a tweet. Let's listen to this, and I'd like to get back to that subject because, oh man, that's very dear to my heart. When you have to attach money to your art.
Yeah.
But our question, we'll get there. Our question is, what are the biggest challenges, if any, when booking hardcore metal bands in Hawaii? And this is coming from Hawaii Living 808.
That's a super easy question. Finances. Because the hardcore scene is really small here, so it's difficult to get enough people to come out to the shows to finance the shows. So I'll do, just last year, the flyer you just showed, I did Hatebreed, one of the biggest hardcore bands in existence, and they only did 150 people, and that's, lose a ton of money on those shows. So that would be it. It's just, there's just not that big of a scene out here for hardcore. Although I still try and bring it out when I can, but it's tough.
Well, how are you going to build the audience if you can't?
Well, no,
bring the
that's right.
bands out?
And so I do bring them, but it's, as I try to explain to the booking agents and the bands, Hawaii is a small pool of people. And so I just, I have to try and get them to be a little bit more flexible on the terms, but sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
And so you're rolling the dice every time you bring a band out.
It's a small pool of people, and it's a very expensive venture to bring people out here.
It is, and that's, you try, and I get as much help as I can, and a lot of the people that are into hardcore understand that, and a lot of those people are the ones that go put up posters for me, or they'll pass along stuff online and share posts and everything. But bottom line is, you get a band that comes in and you have 60 people show up, and your break even was 280. It's
That
tough
hurts.
to continue doing that. Yeah.
So you're doing God's work by making this
I
happen.
like to think so. Yeah.
Just talked to Rob Graves last week,
Yeah.
because I'm on my badass music
There you
series
go.
right now.
Kicking
You're
ass,
responsible.
sister.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
responsible for helping me get the next guest, by the way.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. And he talked about starting the company with you,
Yeah.
really, because there just weren't
There wasn't.
the bands weren't coming.
I started the band that we're in together, Corrupt Absolute. I started that in 1993. And our very first show was with a really huge band called Sepultura, who's been around for that long, way longer than that. But at that point, there was 2 clubs, maybe 3 clubs, and nobody was really listening to metal at that time, especially our stuff. I'd say ours is kind of like a hardcore, old school hardcore thrash metal crossover thing. And we would play anywhere. We would play in people's garages, we'd play at parties, whatever, just to do it.
Just to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so good, we're there. You came back, you're surfing, you're supporting your music habit, you start a band,
Right,
and you're playing out just to play because you love doing it.
right.
How did you go through what are the machinations that you got to charging?
So you start playing shows and you realize that, wow, nothing gets done unless you do it. And if you sit around and wait for people to get you shows, I know every band likes to think that they're so awesome that people are going to beat the doors down to get them. It just doesn't happen. So, we go out and look for shows, and a lot of the places didn't really want music, and especially didn't want the stuff that we were trying to peddle. So we just said, okay, great. I think Robin mentioned it. We started working with Jägermeister, who got us into some venues. We're working with Cold Cock now. And they kind of opened the doors to getting us into venues, saying, you've got a night where you don't have anybody yet here, we'll bring in some bands, they'll bring in some drinkers. And it was a very slow road. And we finally found a couple of venues that were open to having it. And then, it's like everything's cyclical. And then there's other venues that wanted to start doing music, and it picked up. And it kind of goes like this. Some years there's a lot of venues, some years there's not. But for us, we got to the point where we just said, we're just going to book everything, and we're going to take care of it and make sure it happens. So we had a steady line of gigs, and it just kept going and going. And then eventually some other bands wanted to come out, and we'd help them out, and it just kind of evolved. And I would say probably 2 years ago, things started really picking up to the point where I'm so busy at shows, we couldn't play. We can't play. Very few of the shows that I book, we actually get to play. As a matter of fact, the bigger booking agents have specifically spelled out in contract, I am banned from playing the shows that I promote. They know I do that.
Because they want my
your undivided attention on the divas that are in the dressing room, screaming for their drinks and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, we've got a tweet. We're going to get to your tweet, Terry, but we have to take a break really quick first, okay? So you stay put. We will be right back with Jack Doom.
Aloha, namaskar, and hello. My name is Anu Hittel, and I host the show called Climate Change Beyond Outrage. We go beyond outrage to find solutions to climate problems facing people, nations, and the world. I hope you will join me here every Tuesday at 1 o'clock. We broadcast live from thinktechhawaii.com. Aloha and bye-bye.
Aloha, my name is Carl Kimpania. I am the host of Think Tech Hawaii's Education Movers, Shakers, and Reformers. You can see our show every Wednesday at noon at 12 p.m. on thinktechhawaii.com, as well as visiting YouTube and finding the link for the show there. The show is also aired on OC16. We look forward to seeing you on the show. We have many wonderful guests, including Joan Husted, Corey Rosenlee, where we talk about the very important issues of education for our keiki. We look forward to seeing you there. Mahalo.
Oh, and we're live. Hello. I was actually just checking Facebook just to see if we had any questions in there, and we don't. We've got on Twitter, Terry gave you a shout out and said Jack Doom of Corrupt Absolute, and at Underworld 808 Live. The interview is happening right now.
Oh,
She's
hey,
helping
so Terry
she's
taking
telling
care of
people.
Twitter. Yeah,
Terry, just like
Thank you,
he said,
Terry.
it was such a nice self-fulfilling.
She does a lot. Yeah, I would be stuck without her. I couldn't do a lot of the shows that I'm doing without her.
Oh, that's awesome. Shout out to Terry. Gorilla Camera asked any music genre that you don't listen to and why not? Like Chinese festival music?
I have it on my phone. I listened to it on the way down here.
It
Stuff
raises
is
my blood pressure.
Awesome. I don't listen to a lot of hip hop. Actually, I don't listen to any hip hop. I love the videos, but I turn the music down. That's about it. I mean,
because the videos are all girls wagging their fannies around.
Stop, really?
I just said the word fanny. Oh my God.
I would not have used that term, but I don't listen to hip hop. I will, I'll listen to country sometimes if I'm stuck in the car with my mom because she listens to it. But again, not a huge fan of it. But I've been to some concerts and I see I like the lyrics. The guys they got terrible lives.
Yeah, sometimes make you feel better about yourself.
They do. It's always. I was just talking to somebody the other day about that. It's yeah. So hip hop is probably about the only one. If you threw a bunch of genres at me that I might say, oh yeah, I don't like that either. But there's probably a lot of stuff that I don't even know about. I have been in, some really weird European techno music. I think there's a lot of music that has some good qualities to it. And usually like when I'm listening to stuff, and I'll even, hip hop even, I mean, even though I don't listen to it, I can listen to a song and go, wow, that's a really cool hook. And I'd be lying if I said I didn't say, I'm gonna try and figure out how to use that in my music.
Oh.
I mean, again, I'm gonna lose a lot of street cred, but I love Avril Lavigne. I love Taylor Swift. They are hook machines, man.
Maybe there is hope for us. Because those girls, I like angry chick music.
Well, yeah, they've got some 40-year-old guy that's sitting in a studio somewhere writing their tunes for them, and they just crank the hooks out. I mean, you can't help but listen to it and go, wow, that's a really, you remember it.
Yeah.
And what can you do about that?
And it's sing-alongable.
Well, that's what it is.
I like
the first time myself and Rob, we went to Japan. It was really funny. We were really, that was when Tower Records was in existence. And I think Rob even said we had a big display at Tower Records and stuff. And we went over there and they did not understand English at all. But the way I write my music, I do a lot of hooks. And I do a lot of, it's very, they were phonetically singing along to a lot of the songs that we were doing on the choruses. No idea what I was saying. But so it's the same thing. So I mean, I ripped that off a lot from the real popular type music, the hook thing. Nobody wants to hear 7 minutes of things changing.
Yeah.
So
Okay, that's cool. That's cool to know. I once dated a musician. Oh, look, there's a picture of you being cool.
that was when we were playing in the MIDI festival in Beijing. That was awesome. We got up there and it was a 3-day festival with about 100,000 people, and immediate rock stars. We jumped off that stage right over. Gibson was sponsoring it. We were on the Gibson stage, and we jumped off that stage right over to the Gibson had a promo booth and everything, and we were taking 30, 40, 50 photographers out there taking pictures of us doing stupid stuff. And somebody emailed us the next day, and bam, we were on the front page of the Gibson.com website.
Oh, wow.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Rockstar.
Yeah,
How
super.
How long ago was that?
That was a long time ago. It was 2008, I think, maybe.
Still get a little dopamine when you think about it?
Oh, absolutely. That's why I like touring overseas, because we, especially in China at that time, there wasn't a lot of bands going through there. We were the first American metal band to do mainland China, and we did I think 17 dates in 21 days. So we were going places where they literally had never seen white people, and Caucasian people. Sorry, can I say white? Is that politically
I
correct?
think you can
Yeah,
do it.
all
On
right.
my show, you can say it.
And so we had people coming out that just wanted to see the white guys. And I mean, grandparents and little kids coming up and taking pictures because they wanted to touch our hair and pull it over them and take pictures. And it was awesome. I mean, it
Oh,
was super,
very
super
cool.
fun.
So why don't you do that anymore?
A couple of reasons. Tons of bands are doing it, so we're not really a novelty anymore.
Okay.
And then I'm just so busy with the promoting. It's difficult for me to find a month when I don't have something going on or I don't have to promote something to go. So actually this year, I'm cutting back on doing the shows for a bunch of reasons, but one of the reasons is I'm trying to focus more on Corrupt Absolute, getting us some shows. So we played with Testament. BAMP had us play with Testament at Republic last November, and we're playing 2 shows with Megadeth there in March, and then I'm looking to get us some tours overseas and back on the mainland. So I'm kind of trying to get back into playing more as opposed to promoting.
Cool. Because you got to feed that part of your spirit.
Yeah, that's
too.
why I got into it. Anyways, yeah. So that was one of the shows we did here a little while ago.
That was last year.
Yeah, so that's a promotion for the Megadeth show. It's and if anybody is wondering why Megadeth is nowhere on there, it's because I got scolded by Megadeth or Megadeth's management for putting them on my advertisement. They're one of the bands that likes to get promoted, or they like to approve all their promotion, which I get. So they don't
Yeah.
want me doing it. Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah, so that was
So
the
there you
Mayhem
guys are.
Festival in San Francisco. Played with Slayer and Marilyn Manson and a bunch of other bands.
Are you kidding? Wow.
Awesome. I mean, once you play to crowds like that, it's really difficult to go back to playing smaller clubs. And we jumped off of this show, and I kid you not, we played a show the next night to 30 people in a club. And we were all kind of like, huh? How does this happen?
Oh, wow.
It happens.
A little breather.
Yeah.
There you are. Hey, we got another tweet from Terry. She's asking, thank you, Terry. I should have asked this question. How long have you been having Metal Fest? And what made you decide to have such a huge show with so many bands in one venue? So let's talk. Metal Fest is like
Metal
a whole
Fest
weekend
is
of.
it's my one big day show out of the year that I do. I started off doing it with Rob at Anna's, and it was just local bands. And we did 2 stages. We built a stage out in the back parking lot, and it was super fun. And they changed ownership, and we ended up moving around into some other places. But it has progressed into something now that is really big. And so I'm getting bigger mainland headliners, and I do it at Hawaiian Brian's, and I do 3 stages and about 25 or 30 bands. So I have
all day.
mostly local bands, but I have a big headliner, like a national headliner, and then I'll have some regional bands from the mainland fly out or to play it too. So I've been doing it since, I want to say since about 2009. We had 1 year we didn't do it. I had some issues, couldn't find a venue. But yeah, it's getting bigger, and I've got huge bands that are wanting to come out and play and get involved with it. So it's actually it's being talked about with the booking agents and with all the bands. So super cool. And I honestly, if I could drop down to just doing Metal Fest every year, I'm okay with that.
You'd be happy.
Yeah, because it's a huge event. It was super successful this year. We had Suicide Silence headline, and went off without a hitch. It was amazing. Everybody involved was just, it was super, super cool.
Awesome. So let's talk about Corrupt Absolute. Are you doing covers or are you doing your own
No,
stuff?
it's all original stuff. Yeah.
Very cool.
We have 1 or 2 covers that we play just to kind of throw in there and mix it up, rarely. But funny enough, we played in 1999, the last time the Vans Warped Tour came out here. We played on that, and we did a cover just to be stupid of Joan Baez's "What If God Was One of Us." I still have people asking us, when are you going to play the Joan Baez song?
That was Joan Baez originally?
Whoever, I think she did it, didn't
What's
she?
it?
Or no, not Joan Baez, whatever. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, she played God in Dogma.
Yeah.
in the movie
Yeah,
Dynamite.
whatever.
I can't
So anyways,
remember.
What If God Was One of Us was the song.
Nasty
yeah.
Little Pill, Jagged Little Pill.
Something
What's her
like
name?
that, yeah.
Okay.
Joan Baez.
We both established that we killed brain cells in the 80s.
I don't even know who
Okay.
Joan Baez is.
I was like, wow, man, I really didn't know she did that.
Joan somebody.
And Zuri's not helping me. She's too young to, apparently, to give me the names. Usually she's in my ear with all the answers for me. Okay, we only have a few minutes left. But let's see, what's the most important thing that I ask you? You said earlier during a break that you have sort of a form letter that you send out to guys who want to make it into the scene.
Yeah. So I have loads of bands that want to play with the nationals. Hawaii, and this is the great thing about Hawaii. Hawaii is the only place in the country you're going to be a local band and play with these national acts. You just can't do it on the mainland. So you're really lucky to live here and do it. So I try and help out the local bands, but I get a lot of bands that ask me tons of questions. So I have like a form letter that I just send to them and say, read this, read it twice, and if you have a question, read it again. Everything's in there. But it's all the information that you would not really think of as you're starting a band.
Like what? Can you think of it? Alanis Morissette, by the way.
Is that who did it?
Yeah.
She's on it. She must have the internet in there.
I didn't even get that from Zuri.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. What were we talking about?
I'm so sorry, but if I missed it.
For everybody listening out there, Zuri is super hot, so every time she mentions her name, I get completely distracted.
Oh,
Can I say that? Or-
she's
yeah.
all excited. Oh my God. She just squealed in my ear.
What were we talking about?
What's in the
Oh,
letter?
yeah. So I think, and this is one of the things that I really, really harp on a lot is not overplaying. I think if people play too much, nobody wants to see them. And so if you want to play one of my shows and get to play with one of these bigger bands, I always recommend, or actually I request that bands don't play for a couple of weeks before or after. And some people like that, some people don't. Some people get it, some people don't. And so I generally only work with the bands that do get it and that kind of have my mindset of thinking, because you can play 2 or 3 weekends in a row, and why are your friends going to pay to see you with a national when they can come and see you for free
Right.
at a club?
Well, except for people who are like working in Waikiki and they're getting tourists.
Well, that's different. So I only book original bands. I don't book cover bands
Okay.
with my.
Oh, so the people playing in.
And
Waikiki
I
are
want
really
to
doing
foster original music. That's why I'm doing music. That's why I'm doing shows, is to promote the music scene and original music. Yeah. So I mean, that's what it's all about for me. I mean, there's a time and a place for cover songs, and it's cool, and we all did in high school. I played cover songs, but to play the shows that I'm doing, I only book original music.
Okay. Okay, cool. And Terry just corrected me. It was Joan Osborne.
See, I knew it was a Joan Osborne.
I really thought it was Alanis Morissette. Zuri agrees with me.
It could have been.
Zuri.
Yes. What?
Okay, we've got like 30 seconds. Anything else on that list that you want to say people need to know? Don't overplay.
No, well, don't overplay. Be serious about your music. Don't make it more difficult for people to book you than it would be to not book you. When you're approaching somebody, don't ask them what they can give you. Tell them what you can do for them by booking you. And more times than not, people just don't get that. It's a super basic thing.
Yeah.
People don't want more work than they need.
Right?
Yeah. So.
Okay. And for someone who's just starting out and trying to figure out like what to charge, is there kind of a standard thing for the newer bands coming on that have finally gotten to that point?
You know, if you're good enough to where you can charge, you'll know what you can charge. I think the local bands pretty much charge a regular, it's $5 or $10. All my shows, I don't do anything less than $25 because you can't afford anything if you do that. So I think there is pretty much a standard. It's nothing. If you're local, you're doing the $5 or the $10 shows.
Okay. And you're getting a piece of that door.
Me? Oh, the bands? I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't do local shows anymore. When years ago when I was doing local shows, we would split the door.
Okay.
Something like that. And I will pay bands on the bigger shows. If the show makes money, I will generally pay the bands. But if it doesn't,
You can't.
can't.
I have to wrap up. I'm really sorry.
Absolutely. No, it's fine.
I want to have you back sometime. I would love to have a panel to talk about what happens to art when you attach finance to it.
Oh, it goes to hell.
Thank you so much for being here.
My
I
pleasure.
really
Thank you.
enjoyed talking with you. Thank you for watching. A few other people I would like to thank. Rich Prapus, whose name I remembered, is our floor manager today. Thanks, Rich.
Thanks, Rich.
I'd like to thank Zuri Bender, our overlord, who is in my ear, the studio overlord, and Jay Fidel, who somehow manages to put this all together. We will see you next week back here on Center Stage. Bye. Flying guitars. Oh, there you go.
Yes.